The poem is called Neither Hindu Nor Muslim. Neither Hindu nor Muslim, I sit with all on a whim, having no caste, sect, or creed. I am different, indeed. Neither thirsty nor quite slaked, I am not dressed nor naked. I do not laugh, do not cry, and neither stay nor go by. I am not sinner or saint, knowing nor sin nor restraint. Bullet tries hard to shirk the embrace of Hindu and Turk. Now, the Punjabi version of the same poem is Hindu nahi na Musalman, bhane tarjan taj bhaman, Sunni na nahi hum Shia, sulah kul ka marg liya. भुक्के ना नहीं हम रज्जे, नंगे ना नहीं हम कज्जे, रोंदे ना नहीं हम हंसते, उजड़े ना नहीं हम बसते. पापी ना सुधरी ना, पाप पुन की राह न जा, बुल्ले शाह जो हर चित लागे, तुर्क और हिंदू दो जन त्यागे. Now it is very much evident from the simple language of English translated version that the poet is trying to say that he is neither Hindu nor Muslim, and he is okay to sit with any sect, any creed or caste. And he says, if I do so, that is why I am indeed different. He says that, he is not a saint and he's not a sinner as well. And he says that he tries hard to shirk the embrace of Hindu and Turk. He's not actually trying to make a difference or differentiate between 2 or 3 sects or creeds or nations or people. He believes that we should always have that humanity within us, that soulfulness within us. Even if we agree to disagree, we should do it with grace and dignity. Well, this kafi depicts the state of one who has realized God within himself and who then sees God abide in everybody. He is actually trying to transcend the narrow considerations of castes, creeds, nations, religious dogmas, and the like. The first line of the poem reminds us of the statement of Guru Nanak when he proclaimed after his crucial mystic experience in the river Bain. There is no Hindu, there is no Musalman. All truly realized souls rise above the differences which divide men. They also rise above the level of morals, differences between good and bad, right and wrong. Moreover, they become impervious to daily biological needs. I am neither hungry nor satiated. I am neither naked nor I am covered. There are these are easily felt emotions. They do have an effect. I do not weep, I do not laugh. They make no difference between their own and that of others, between mine and then thine, and feel everywhere at home. And yet they feel alien in this world because it is not their real home. I am not settled, I am not harmless. And since they see the same Lord within all, they follow the path of universal goodwill. I take to the path of amity for all. The above description of self applies to the soul and not to the body or the mind. In the state of ultimate self-realization, the self is identified within the soul. It is the soul that is able to self-realize these things. The soul transcends all the distinctions mentioned above. These distinctions are relevant only in the regions of the body and the mind. Now, there is another translated version of the same poem that I'm going to read for you. I am neither a Hindu nor a Muslim. I sit in the spinning bee, forsaking the pride. I am neither a Sunni nor a Shia. I take to the path of amity for all. I am neither hungry nor satiated. I am neither naked nor am I covered. I do not weep. I do not laugh. I am not settled. I am not homeless. I am neither a sinner nor a saint. I know not the path of vice and virtue. O Bulla, if in the heart dwells the Lord, one would renounce both Hindu and Muslim. I am neither a Hindu nor a Muslim. So that was all about this poem. It's a beautiful poem. The sentiment is clear that Bulla does not want to differentiate between anybody on the basis of caste, creed, on sects, or any nations. He wants humanity to rise above all of these things. We have talked about his life. We have tried to analyze three of his poems. So we need to conclude what he is saying in a very brief manner. Obviously, we couldn't, go into very much details, but from whatever you have heard through these lectures, through the documentaries and everything shared to you, Bulleh Shah, the 18th century mystic poet from Punjab, was the most popular Sufi saint of his time. In fact, some very eminent writers have called him the greatest Sufi poet of the Punjab. His admirers have even compared his writings and philosophy to those of Rumi. At present, he is held in equally great esteem in northern India and Pakistan. So he has been cherished and celebrated in both countries, India and Pakistan. His poems are full of, love. They have the glimpse that he had love for his Murshid and, of course, God. The other dominant note in his poetry is very strong denunciation of empty, unnecessary rituals and external observances of religion. He does not believe in saying something in roundabout ways. Whatever he says, whatever he has to convey, he says it by hitting the nail on the head. His poems are marked not only by plain speaking but also by bluntness. He's very direct. When he says that I am not hunger and I am not this and I'm not that, all the list of things that he has shared, he's very blunt in that, right? This bluntness produces a poignancy of feeling together with the depth of insight, which puts all artifice to shame, right? So his poetry is like that. His poetry rises spontaneously from the depth of his heart, even as a fountain spouts from the depths of the earth. It has a kind of abandon which produces an intoxicating effect on the reader. No wonder it has always been a favorite choice for the group of singers called Qawwals. Bulleh Shah has been considered the greatest Sufi poet of Punjab. What does this term Sufi signify? The generally accepted view is that the word is derived from Suf or wool. The members of the fraternity of Sufis, a Muslim mystic sect, used to wear a coarse woolen cloak. So they came to be called Sufis. The basic tenet of their philosophy was the realization of God through certain mystic practices in which intellect and senses played hardly any part. Consequently, the emphasis of Sufism was on practice rather than theory. Through their spiritual practices, the Sufis sought to bring their mind under their control and eliminate the sense of ego from within themselves, which is said to be the major stumbling block in God realization. Since the Sufis have been opposed to the dogma of religion, the term Sufi has also come to be used as for people who are free thinkers, and since they see God pervading everything, everywhere, and in all beings, they have also been called pantheists. They see the one, all pervading, everlasting, reality hidden behind the many ever changing appearances of the world. According to them, man can achieve this transcendental state beyond time and space through mystic realization. Indeed, it is the multiple aim of Sufism to raise man from the gross of the subtle, from the many of the one, from the change to permanence, from the partial to the complete, and from ever recurring suffering to the never ending bliss. Bulleh Shah's writings are powerful portrayals of all these aspects. As an accepted principle of spirituality is mind and the senses are only instruments of the soul. Although the soul is activated in the world through these instruments, yet it is quite apart and independent of them. The existence of soul is neither dependent on body, mind, and the senses, nor can its original nature be changed by them. In the Quran, it is stated that soul is a part of God. It possesses all the attributes of God. By association with mind and Maya, all its native qualities have been suppressed. By removing the certain curtain that is there, its associates have raised. The soul can regain its lost splendor. All its divine qualities can once again come to the surface. Bulleh Shah reminds the soul of its divine origin by descending to the gross material world and by association with the body, the mind, and its senses. It has been deluded into believing that it is itself material and that is nothing more than a physical body, mind, and its senses. He explains to the soul that is eternal, immortal, self-luminous, conscious, and blissful as God Himself is. So this is all about what he believes in and what he has tried to show through his poetry. Like in the poem, in the very famous Kafi that we have talked about, where he says, Bulla ki jana main kaun, oh Bulla, what do I know who I am? He gives a long list of entities of what he is not and what people generally take him to be. So these Kafis are very much evident and predominantly talking about these things. All the distinctions mentioned in such poems are based on contingent qualities and are not essential or necessary. So, and after giving long list of negative objects which cannot be the reality of any man, Bulla himself gives the positive answer of what man really is. In the one of the poems, I take myself to be the beginning and the end. I do not recognize aught except the one. So the reality of man is that which has neither beginning nor end. In other words, it is timeless, not subject to change. And this entity is the soul. It can be neither the body nor the mind nor the senses. So this is what Bulleh Shah's teachings are, his beliefs are, and his poetry is about.